So just to give everybody an update on the numbers when it comes to COVID-19, there's been 3 million official cases around the world. Again, official is way lower than the actual number of cases because this is just the number that we've tested for and confirmed. So 3 million cases, to be clear, 3,045,993. Deaths around the world, 214,583. The death toll is sharply rising, and I don't know what it's gonna peak at. I don't, but the numbers are terrifying. And in the United States, we crossed the 1 million case threshold. Again, official cases, not the same as real cases. There's way more real cases, but officially 1,025,305 cases. And listen, terrible fact, but it's the reality. We've now surpassed, in just a 3-month time span, we've now surpassed the number of deaths that we had in Vietnam. The number of Americans that died in Vietnam is about 58,220 to be exact. And COVID is now over 60,000. So in just a 3-month time span, we already surpassed the number of Americans who died in Vietnam. And bottom line, that shows you our misplaced priorities. It shows you our misplaced priorities. And instead of wasting so much money on the military budget, on imperialism, instead of giving money to the military-industrial complex willy-nilly, instead of handing over trillions of dollars to corporations that didn't even have a rainy day fund, it's amazing that we didn't prepare for a pandemic like this in any serious way. We didn't have a good stockpile of ventilators. We didn't have a good stockpile of antiviral drugs. We didn't have the proper number of hospitals that we need. We didn't have the proper number of ICU beds that we need. In every conceivable way, we weren't prepared. And of course, very famously, Trump in 2018 fired the pandemic experts. So look at the comparison between Americans that died in Vietnam and Americans that died from a pandemic, and you can see that the threat of a pandemic is a hell of a lot more real than the threat of deaths in war or the threat of, an Al-Qaeda attack. This far surpasses 9/11. This isn't to downplay any of that stuff, but it is to say, to look at this objectively and to look at it in perspective, we should have invested a hell of a lot more time, money, resources in science, in technology, in preparedness for a pandemic, and instead, our government fired the pandemic experts, Trump fired the pandemic experts, and gave the military-industrial complex the ability to loot the treasury. We spend more than the next 10 biggest militaries combined. So look at the priorities. It's not based on need. It's not based on objectivity. It's based on corruption. And it's the military-industrial complex on Wall Street gave the politicians money, so now they serve them. The people are screwed, the workers are screwed, and we couldn't even do basic preparedness for something we knew was coming. Another pandemic was a guarantee. We knew it was coming. And it's here now, and the death toll is devastating, and it's going to continue to rise. And so, wouldn't it be great if we had leadership that actually cared about science, cared about preparedness? And of course, our system is basically a scam. Our whole healthcare system is a scam. People were getting $30,000 COVID-19 bills, I know, because we covered it on this show. So look at how quickly it collapsed under minimal pressure. So now we know, hey, maybe we should focus on fixing our healthcare system and pandemic preparedness for the future. The fact that we didn't even have enough masks. Never mind ventilators and antiviral drugs and beds. We don't even have enough masks. We should have been prepared for a situation like this. I know we didn't know the exact nature of what this one was going to be like, but we could have done general pandemic preparedness a lot better, and we didn't do it, and it's pathetic. And people should be angry that we waste so much money on war, spend next to nothing on pandemic preparedness, but the pandemic is more deadly than war has been for Americans. And of course, so everybody knows, over 1.5 million Vietnamese died, innocent people, in the Vietnam War. And at some point, Will the world numbers surpass that? I don't know, but we need to move away from endless war, and we need to move towards peace and prosperity and science and technology and preparedness so that we value human life enough to protect it at a time like this.